Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing SBK 22. Superbike 22 is here and we're using Scott Redding right here in Most. So this is my first proper full race here in Superbike 22. I'm using Scott Redding, of course, on board the BMW, got a little bit wide into turn 1, and for the very first time I'm actually swapped over completely to manual gears. Pro handling, everything else is already similar to what I've been using for Ride 4 and MotoGP 22. But I've decided to use manual gears as a change for Superbike 22, and it's about time I started learning them anyway, so here we are, using them for the very first time in a video. So as much as I would like to commentate this race, unfortunately I can't, because we have a job to do today, and that is to discuss the first impressions of Superbike 22. Now the first thing I'm going to bring up and mention is the physics and the engine of the game. Now the physics and the game engine is identical to MotoGP 21. Which is not the worst thing in the world, but I would have much preferred it to be based on MotoGP 22 rather than somewhat of a modified engine of 21. I feel like I've already finished 21, loved it, experienced it, thought it was great, and I'll probably not return back to it. Since going on to 22, I thought, yep, I'm happy to move on now, enjoying MotoGP 22, I love the feeling of the bikes. Superbike 22 takes you back to MotoGP 21, and for me, that is a disappointment. That is the first disappointment I'm going to get out of the way with straight away, because I'm a little bit disappointed that it is the physics of 21. I've spent 100 hours and maybe more learning and perfecting MotoGP 22 just to effectively go back to it the year after. So that is a bit of a downfall, but it is what it is. Apart from that though, the game is great. It's a fantastic game. The bikes all feel good, the bikes are all replicated very well as well, the tracks are fantastic. There is only 12 tracks in the game, but that of course is Superbike's official track list, so you can't blame Milestone for that one, for having just only 12, and of course 24 riders in the game. Now bear in mind there is no other classes in this game, so no 300s or even 600s, which I know is a massive blow. But the game never advertised that in the first place. We were always advertised that it was just going to be World Superbike 22, and we all pretty much assumed and understand that it was going to be just that. Now, of course, fingers crossed for the future that maybe we'll hear Milestone say we're going to do a DLC and we'll get them involved, or maybe in the future we'll get a Superbike 23 which has every single rider that we desire. Now, something I do feel something to mention, and it's worthwhile regarding the lack of riders. I do feel this is a case of Milestone testing the water a little bit, just to see how well Superbike 22 performs. If it performs well, I think we're going to see a game that has the exact same engine as the latest MotoGP game, and I think we'll even see additional riders, historical modes, and it'll basically be the counterpart of MotoGP 22, 23, or whatever the year may be when the next Superbike game comes out. But as far as the experience goes, I'm going to have to be truthfully honest with you with this one. There is nothing different to what you haven't seen already. And I'm fine with that. It is what it is. It's simply just Superbike from MotoGP 21 physics, which again, I don't mind. I really don't mind that. This might put you off, it really do, but I've got to be honest with you and give you my full first impressions. But I actually love this. I think it's fantastic. I would much prefer a brand new game like we've got, with a bit of a reskin, a bit of a change of pace, and a bit of different things here and there, rather than just 30 quid for a season pass. The game itself is $34.99, which is kinda the same price of a season pass and some DLCs nowadays, so it's nothing too surprising. I don't think Milestone have charged us unfairly for this, and paying the £35 didn't really bother me for this particular game. But from what I've experienced so far from the track of Most, the BMW, the Yamahas, they all feel very different. The tracks feel different, the tracks feel good, the tracks look very accurate, I'm going to say, I'm quite impressed with that. But there was also a few negatives with the bikes. Going back to MotoGP 21 and experiencing the difficult brakes, which I used to adore, but then experiencing 22, which is superior in every way, feels a little bit of like a backwards step coming to these bikes rather than enjoying MotoGP 22. Now, as far as the bikes go from MotoGP prototypes to Superbikes, there isn't really much difference in the sense of enjoyment. I'm loving both bikes just as much as each other. The action is fast, it's competitive, and even the AI is extremely strong in this game, which I'm very, very glad to say. It's not often we get to have a difficult AI, and finally we have it in Superbike 22. In some races, I had a bit of difficulty where I would be quite significantly far behind. In qualifying, the AI is rapid with a capital R as well. Very good news for our career mode when I start the videos on those ones as well, because if the AI is competitive and I'm going to be forced to really dig down deep, that makes the content way more exciting. So I'm happy and pretty pleased with that. Now, of course, they are, at this stage, too hard for me at 120% difficulty, but I know after a bit of more playing time and experiencing the game a little bit more often, learning the bike and getting better with manual gears as well, probably rinse them in no time. But I'm looking forward to the content that we can make together. And of course, if you're enjoying the video so far and you found the video to be informative, be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing, because I have a lot of bike content coming up very, very soon. But regarding Superbike 22, at this point I'm not going to recommend or not recommend it at this point. I would like to spend a little bit more time with it and conclude that in my final review. But one thing I do need to mention is that the only reason I've been able to play this game relatively early is because of my good friend Fuchs, the former MotoGP esports rider, hooked me up and let me play on his account just so I experience the game early and get content done for today so you guys could see it and make your mind up whether you want to buy it or not. As I say, I'm not going to try and swing your arm or not, I'm just going to give you the basics and just tell you how I felt about Superbike 22. Now, there is one thing that I will mention which may or may not be biased towards Superbike, but it is true. I've waited 10 years for this, you've waited 10 years for that, we've all waited 10 years for a good Superbike game, and we have it. We have a Superbike game that is worth playing in 2022, and I cannot stress how excited and happy I am for that. To race the BMW M1000 RR here in Most against Toprak Razgatioglu is epic. The BMW feels different to the Yamaha. The Ducati feels smoother and softer to ride than the Honda. The Honda sounds the best out of all of the bikes in this game. The difference between each bike is quite noticeable in Superbike 22, which I'm thrilled about, because sometimes they're not always that noticeable and sometimes they do sound a little bit rubbish. But the Kawasaki and the Hondas, they sound fantastic in this game, so the sound design is pretty solid in my experience. I've very much enjoyed listening to the sound of the bikes, and now since I'm using manual gears, I've been able to hear the bikes roar a little bit more. So that's a nice little addition and a nice sort of feel-good factor for me to encourage me to continue to use manual gears. Did a video with Alex Lowe's. It may or may not be coming out today, I've not quite decided, depends how much content I can get done. But I really enjoyed short shifting in mani cores and listening to the Kawasaki ZX-10R scream as Alex Lowe's was very strong in that track. But the one thing I've just been reminded to mention, and I kind of hesitated to, but I guess I will anyway. In the milestone video for the press release for Superbike 22, I noticed the AI was mentioned, and the AI was referred to as ANA, of course, the Artificial Neural Intelligence Learning System. But they referred to each rider being their own rider or their counterpart with a real-life person. I couldn't help to take this with a... I couldn't not take it as a pinch of salt, is I guess what I'm trying to say, is I couldn't help to think about it when I was playing this game. And I can put your mind at ease. None of the AI riders replicate a real person. Now, they were saying that Toprak would be stronger on the brakes, for example, and Alvaro Bautista may be quicker in a straight. That doesn't happen. I think that's just a bit of promotion garbage, if I'm truly honest with you, as Toprak gives us a big old whack into the left-hand side. But I did notice on the straight then for Most, the main straight, yeah, Toprak beat me on the brakes, but I think that's because I'm a little bit tentative with the brakes. But as this one winds down now to the final corner, this could be my very first win here in Superbike 22, using manual gears with the BMW M1000 RR with Scott Redding at the helm. I think we're going to get the job done. And honestly, I'm really chuffed about that. Yes, the AI is not 120% difficulty, it was at 105, but I'm still pleased with the victory. But guys, that's pretty much it from my first impressions. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, let me know in the comments section down below. Definitely hit the subscribe button because I've got so much more Superbike 22 content coming out very, very soon. So stick around and check out the rest of the content. But guys, same podium as we've seen many years now, but let it not deter you from the end of this video because we're still having fun and we will regardless. So, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to join the Discord server if you're looking to get Superbike 22 and you want to race with the aces. And I'll see you in the next video. Like, comment and subscribe. And ciao for now.
Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.